go. Hello. Nathaniel, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for joining me. I love this. This is our first time meeting.
It is.
Okay, so this is so cool. You reached out to me a while ago to be on your podcast, and I think something happened with my work and yeah, all the things. And so now here we are. You're on my podcast, and then I'll be on your podcast later this week. So it
Yes,
worked
that.
out.
I
This is
know I don't
awesome.
remember exactly how we met. One of the
One
different
of the
real
groups.
estate groups that we're a part of, and I was like, "Oh,
Yes.
Stephanie's doing some cool things. Let's chat about it." And I made my podcast specifically for just like chatting with cool people that are doing cool things. So,
I
it's a
love
pleasure to
it. I
finally do
love
this.
it.
Yeah,
Okay, so that means I got to do some cool things before
yeah,
you
that's right.
do it.
You're doing them. That's it.
I gotta do cool things.
Yeah.
So I believe we're connected through the Subto Facebook
Mhm.
group, right? So you're Subto leader. How long have you been in Subto?
I've been in Sub 2 for a little over 2 years now. This is June, end of June 2024. It was somewhere end of May of 2022 that we joined.
Nice. Okay, what brought you to Subto?
Other not the best mentorships.
Oh, okay. So you went down that road
Yep.
first.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well then, okay. What did you learn from that experience that's helped you moving forward, right? Because there's always something, right?
Yeah.
You got something out of it, one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I've gotten into any mentorship coaching programs or anything that I haven't taken something away from. That's
Okay.
been a blessing. Like I've always been able to take something away from it.
Yeah.
The other ones that I got into before joining Sub 2 were just like, here's my Kajabi page, or like, a page where all the content's
Ah,
held.
yeah.
We'll meet once a week, right, for an hour. But if nobody has any questions, then that meeting's going to be canceled. Um, just watch these videos and go try to take action, and I'll be here through email if you need my support. It just was not very,
Yeah.
cohesive. There wasn't a community around it. So lessons learned. It's hard to say lessons learned, but just going out there and trying new things, I think. And then ultimately, the path that you're supposed to be on is you're going to find it or it's going to find you.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, and for what it sounds like the community aspect was really the piece that might have been missing from that, right?
Yeah. I mean, that like Sub 2 has so much to offer.
Yeah,
When I joined these other mentorships, I was really kind of looking for a little bit more like focused direction.
yeah,
I had already been wholesaling and going direct to seller. I tried a bunch of different marketing channels and I didn't really have any like, okay, focus, which
yeah,
I didn't realize you get through a community of people that are doing similar things and going, hey,
yeah.
this is how you focus.
Yeah,
So yeah, the community, I mean, just all the content that has been created from Pace and the other Sub 2 leaders. And I think there's like probably 80 hours worth of live Zooms every week that you get access to inside the
right.
Sub 2 group. So yeah, it was just really a compilation of all of the things, but the community
Yeah,
aspect is really what stands out, yeah, the most. I mean, meeting people like you.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've connected with so many more people being in sub two than I did otherwise.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it makes such a huge difference when you can't do this by yourself, right? It's a team effort. You can't do a transaction without another person. Right.
Right.
I've heard Pace say that, and it's just like, well, yeah, that's common sense. That makes sense. But yet, so many of us, me included, I have done that where it's like, okay, I know what I need to do, and I'm going to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to do everything, and I can't do everything. And then
Yeah.
how do I get out of that mindset funk when I'm going down a negative space,
Yeah.
right? Like you got to connect with your people that have that are in it with you, that are doing the same things, that are having the same challenges.
Yeah.
And then you can brainstorm and bounce ideas and kind of get that recharge. So yes. So speaking of recharge, I
Oh,
saw something about you going. You're going to have some coffee right now. That's one
it's
kind of.
tea. It's tea. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, tea.
Yeah.
Yes, another
My after
form.
lunch
Yeah.
tea. Yeah.
So I saw that you and a bunch of other cool folks, Jesse and Shane, everybody was going to Vegas,
Hmm.
and you get to connect with other like-minded individuals. What was that all? What was that about? Like, what were you looking to get out of that? And did you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny the last piece that we were talking about, not doing this alone and leaning on other people who have different skill sets and things like that. That
Yes.
that was a lot what this event was about, is connecting
Nice.
with other people, masterminding kind of with them, finding the opportunities that somebody else is working on that you might be able to come in and bring value to,
Mm.
the different connections that you've made. It really was an event for a lot of different groups. I've been in Jesse Stanton's Growth Co coaching program
Ooh.
at this point, so a lot of the actual events of the day, so to speak, the
Mm.
topics, the things that they were talking about were a little bit repeat for us. But
Okay.
we were just a few of the people that had already been through the Growth Co. A lot of these people were coming in just to like learn, how do I go buy creative real estate? How do I either exit my W-2 or do this while I'm, a full-time parent, things like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of what we talked about was bringing on an operations manager, somebody to be that who for your day to day, so you can be thinking about the higher level things, right? We came
Yes.
from a wholesaling business, and a lot of these other people that we met there come from wholesaling business where it's all about me being on the phone all the time,
Yeah.
me pulling the leads, and we're in this like constant grind of just this cycle of trying to find the next little deal that I can do, where instead we're like zooming ourselves out. Now we're bringing in a person underneath, or kind of, I don't even see her as underneath us, but like right alongside of us. We're kind of
Yeah.
homies, right? The operations managers and they're doing the kind of day-to-day stuff, freeing me up to go find more opportunities, make connections with people like yourself, right? And seeing what we can work on and do together and how we can collaborate. So for me, it was a couple fold, like going and seeing how I can create other opportunities, like meeting, like you mentioned, Shane and Jesse and
Yes.
Chris James and Angel Miller, all these people that I've been talking to for a long time virtually like this, and then being
Yeah.
able to go, "What's up, buddy?" and like
Yeah.
give them a big hug. I couldn't tell you how many times Jesse and I hugged, just like, "Love you, bro." Like we went through a lot together. We've got a long ways to go, but
Yeah.
getting him out of his Alaska shell and us out
I
of our South
know.
Carolina shell. Yeah, so I hope
Yeah.
that kind of answers your question. There was a lot there, but it was about being
No.
in that group, being in the community. I do
Right.
so much stuff virtually. Subto is amazing,
Yes.
but going and meeting in person and being able to like shake hands, and there's a different vibe there. So yeah,
For
just that.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't, it's one of the things where thank God for Zoom or Teams or whatever platform you're using to be able to connect
Yeah.
from all over the world, actually. Like I do Zooms with my Project Forward battle buddy Navot. He's in Israel and we do Zooms, right? So
Mm.
you can connect with so many people and you don't it's just from your office or
Yeah.
your kitchen or whatever.
Dining room.
But at the same time, if you can do in person, it's so much better.
Yeah.
It's the icing on the cake, right? So that's awesome. So you talked about operators, operational managers, and I've heard other people thinking about that too, talking about that as well, where it's like, okay, I still have my W-2. I want to do the things, but it goes back to that book, what is it? Who Not How,
Hmm.
right? I can't do all the things. I don't know how to do all the things. Let me bring somebody else in. That's
Yep.
how I partnered up with my partner on our pad split because she didn't want to be in the day to day. And I don't necessarily want to be in the day to day either, but we have a plan for that, right?
Okay.
So we're getting the property going, and then we can bring in a project or a property manager at some point, when we're at
Okay.
our 2 to 3 property level instead of just the one right now.
Yeah.
And I handle all the things. She doesn't have to handle all the things, right? So she helps in other ways, right? So it works. And that's the thing, is if you really get out of your own way and look at who can I bring in that's gonna be the yin to my yang, right? Or fill that empty space and do some of the things that I can't do, I don't want to do, I don't know how to do, and then we can still make this happen, right? Because
Yeah.
what you're not good at, somebody else is.
100%.
And let
I'm
them.
good at everything though, Stephanie. No, I'm just,
Yeah. Let them live up to their full potential by doing the things that they can contribute to,
yeah.
right?
Yep.
So, okay, so you did some networking. You talked about how to be successful, not necessarily just having like a wholesale business. I think a lot of people start out focusing on that,
Hmm.
and because it's the easiest way to get into real estate, right? But the problem is it sounds like you're really trading your time for money still, right?
Yep.
Because if you're not working it, nothing happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
We still had our, I guess I still had my operator's hat on, and in a sense I still do, right? There are certain things that I need to be in the business doing,
Yeah.
otherwise opportunities aren't being generated.
Yeah.
But right now I'm looking at more high level things rather than picking up the phone and talking to a seller, right? Which is
Yeah.
something I do. I'm not going to lie. I do miss it. That was, a big part of my life for the past 8 years is talking to sellers and understanding what's going on with their situations. But in
Yeah.
order for us to grow and to scale to where we wanted to be, I needed to take that hat off and put somebody else into a position. We're not directly calling sellers anymore, right? We're talking to
Yeah.
wholesalers who have deals, but
Okay.
putting somebody in the position to be doing that, right? Underwriting the deals, vetting contractors, vetting property managers, seeing projects through to property manager in place. Like I can't be outgoing and creating more opportunities for us if I'm focused on those things. And so
Right.
that's what bringing somebody in really accelerates that. And, you know, talking about bringing in the who, and not necessarily going out and learning something new. That's a big reason why we've joined coaching programs in the first place, is like
Yeah.
something that might take me 3 or 5 years to figure out, I can buy all that time back and learn it in 3 months and accelerate where I'm trying to get to. So like we've done a few, outside of Subto, we've done a few other like more intimate one-on-one, one on
Yeah.
20 kind of coaching programs. And that's something that we're not going to stop doing now that we've experienced it. It's just, it moves you forward, right? I want to get to
Right.
chapter 10. I'm at chapter 3. Like I can either sit there and read all the book, or I could
Yes.
pay somebody to give me the cliff notes. Check
Yeah.
it out. Yeah.
That's huge. That was one thing that, I had gone the traditional route with college and universities and the
Yeah.
degrees, right?
Yeah.
And it never occurred to me that there could be a shortcut.
Right. Yeah.
It's so obvious now,
Yeah.
but up until last year, I never realized that existed, that was an option.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
we thought the shortcut was college, right? You think the shortcut is
exactly.
go to college and
Right.
then I'll be able to be a CEO. Well, that's not the way
Yeah,
it works.
exactly. That's the long way. That
Yeah,
really is. It's the
it is.
long way.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I told my son too. I was like, I think it's great to think about the things that you want to do, but just know that sometimes there's a faster way to get there,
Hmm.
and you just have to find the faster way to get there. You don't have to go the long route just
Right.
because everybody else is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
we talk
know
about like starting with the end in mind. Sadly, something that I've heard for years now, and I'm just now putting into practice because we would be further along towards our end if I had listened closer. So if you're listening
Mm,
out there and you haven't heard this before, start with the end in mind and then work your way back to what you need to be doing today to get to that end. If you just go, well, I'll start wholesaling because eventually I want to buy properties, you're going to end up 2 years down the road and you haven't bought a property yet. Yeah, maybe you've made some money along the way, but what was the end goal? Was the end goal to build a wholesaling operation or to buy properties? Ours was to buy
yes.
properties. And so
Yes.
2 years later, we're like, wait, I'm just wholesaling. Okay. Starting with the end
Yeah.
in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that that's a very good point. For me, that's what I was always looking to do, was to buy and hold properties. And with my W-2, I was just like, okay, that doesn't make sense for me to try to do anything else. I need to connect with the people that are doing that. So I would connect with the wholesalers. I connect with agents. I'm connecting with everybody to try to bring in the leads, right? But the ultimate goal was always to buy and hold. And then what I struggled with was trying to figure out how I could, what was the best exit strategy, because I was so focused on long-term rentals and they're not cash flowing, and I
Right.
wanted cash flow. So I think
Yeah.
it goes back to, well, so you want to buy and hold. Why do you want to buy and hold? What are you looking to get out of buying and holding those properties? Because if you're looking strictly for tax benefits, then it doesn't matter if it cash flows or not,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because tax benefits, ooh, those are
Yeah.
just wonderful, so
Yeah.
wonderful. But a lot of people want both. They want tax benefits and they want cash flow.
Yeah.
Well, long-term rentals right now are not cash flow unless you can get it Subto with a 2 or 3% rate, right? Then you can't cash flow with the long-term rentals.
Right.
So yes. So you always wanted to buy and hold. What kind of progress now that you've pivoted and focusing really towards that instead of the wholesale? How much progress have you made toward that then?
Oh, I mean, it depends on your perspective if you're looking at the gap or you're looking at the gain. We try to look at the gain of what we've gained over the past few months. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we're making amazing progress. We're connecting with new wholesalers with creative deals every day. That's really our criteria for buying properties is a creative, and does it break even as a long-term rental? Because like you said,
Ooh,
long-term
yes.
rentals aren't really cash flowing. We're not looking at the long-term rental side of things. We're looking at midterm rentals, short-term rentals, co-living,
Yes.
so splitting up a house and renting it out by the room. To typically we're targeting like young professionals, people in college or coming out of college and kind of moving into the workforce. Don't need a 3 bed, 2 bed, I mean 3 bed,
Right.
2 bath house. Oh, it looks
Yeah.
great, buddy. My Harlan just drew a little picture. He was just sitting there, ta ta, whispering. Uh, so that's kind of where we're looking, is the
Yeah.
more, I don't know, creative exits as
Yes.
well. And then it's funny you mentioned the tax benefits. That's something that a lot of our private money partners come into deals for, is like, they're
Yes.
not so concerned about making the 12% returns on their money. They want, they work W-2s and they just want to lower their tax burden from their
Yes.
W-2s that they're making good income with. So that's a big benefit of, lending on a real estate transaction, is that you get the depreciation and you get the appreciation. You also get some cash flow as well. Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, so you've dropped some really good, so what is it? Golden nuggets. That's what
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
right? Some golden nuggets there. I love it. I think that so you have that you're focusing on the end game
Mhm.
now, right? Instead of, oh, I'm just going to get started, and everybody says wholesaling is the way to start, and then you spend all your time on that,
Yeah.
right? That's not getting you really where you want to go necessarily, though, right? So kind of pivoting. I remember Jamil and Rahima, at one of the panel discussions last year, she kept saying, okay, this property isn't working for long-term rental. It's not working for this. It's not working. You have to be willing to pivot and look at what the possibilities are for
Right.
that property.
Yep.
And so that was what really kept coming back to me for me to figure out co-living and really focus and go all in on that. Because the thing is, there's such a need for affordable housing, right?
Yeah.
And whether it's the new professionals that are just getting started, or anybody in between, right? You can have uh, seniors that don't want the big place to
Yeah.
have to take care of, and they just want to have a nice, clean room and a nice, clean, safe place, and have a little bit of community feel to it. Hopefully, I mean, it ranges,
Yep.
right, on who would want that kind of space, and if we can provide that, well, then providing the tax benefits and the cash flow and all of the other things for investors, then you've got win 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 all the way around for everybody,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So yes. So what is your ultimate goal? How many properties are you looking for?
Right now, our first goal to get to basically a year from now, just under a year, is to get to 50,000 net cash flow a month from our
Ooh,
asset.
okay.
Yeah. So
I
that's what we're
love
shooting
it.
towards. We're seeing about probably it's going to be about 40 plus properties.
Okay.
That's going to take us to get there. From our few different exit strategies that we. I don't even like calling it exit strategies because we're not
Yes.
exiting the
You're not
property. We have our
exiting,
hold
right?
strategy. Yeah, but that's our goal. That's what we're going to get to within the year. June of 2025 basically is what our yearly goal is for that, and we're going to get
Okay.
there. We put in strong pieces into place, and we've created a community around us that is going to allow us to go accomplish those goals.
Yes. Okay. And then what markets are you looking in?
All of them.
All
We,
of them.
yeah, we're pretty nationwide. We're right
Okay.
now at the moment in June of 2024. We're staying away from the Californias and the New Yorks,
Yes.
just because squatters scare me a little bit. We've had squatters in some projects that we have in Georgia and South Carolina, and we're able to just go, "Hey, sheriff, get the squatters out."
Yeah.
Whereas in some other states, it's not that simple. And
Yes.
so when we're involving other people's money and other people's time, we don't want to have to deal with the red tape, we'll say, of
Yes.
that kind of a situation. So we're just
Okay.
going to focus on the states that are like, nope, that's your house. They are not allowed to be in there. Get them out,
Right.
peaceably, but
Yes.
peacefully. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. Okay. So most markets,
Most markets, yeah.
okay. And how do people get a hold of you, right? Because we've talked about a lot of great things. Yes, there's the email or the website.
Yeah, that's my
There's your
website.
website.
If you go to that, it's not the most impressive thing. I built it myself, but it will get you to where you kind of need to go. So if you're a
Oh,
wholesaler and you have creative deals, that's a place for you to go kind of check us out. You can get on my calendar there. If you're needing help with locking deals up, underwriting, things like that, same thing. If you have
nice.
money and you want to lend on some of the deals that we're doing, I would like to connect with you before we start talking about that. So that's a great
Yeah,
place to go for that as well. So you can get on my calendar that way. I would
wonderful.
also like to just say, we talked a little bit about the underwriting and the different creative strategies. This is something
Yes.
that a friend of mine, Zach Bush, and I are kind of taking on right now is that we're trying to help people figure out how to underwrite and how to underwrite properly and how to underwrite to where you have confidence that if you put this thing under contract, you're going to be able to get a buyer. I would love to be a buyer
Yes.
for that. But we're putting those together. So I'd love to connect with anybody out there that needs help underwriting as well. So we can kind of provide that value to you guys going forward.
Wonderful. All right. Well, and you know what? I'll just put it out there as well. I've done the same thing for pad split properties.
Mm-hmm.
I have an underwriting tool, and I've been willing to share that and help people as well
Heck
with
yeah.
looking at co-living. It's a different little different
Yeah.
to look at from the other exit strategies. So,
So we're
well,
gonna
thank you
collaborate
so
on that
much.
too. We're gonna have
Yes.
Stephanie come in as a
Yeah.
guest underwriter, and we'll see things. That's a benefit of what we're doing is we're going to be able to see things from different people's perspective, because
Yeah.
everybody comps a little differently. Everybody pulls rent,
Yes.
a little differently, and everybody kind of sees what the exit plan is a little differently. So the more people we can kind
Yes.
of collaborate with, community,
Yeah, I am
the
happy to
better.
help. I am
Heck yeah,
happy to help. And
yeah,
I will say, yes, okay. I could keep talking all day. I
yeah. We
know we
could, yeah,
gotta go.
yeah, we do.
So people know how to get a hold of you. You've shared some great stuff. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you
And I
for having
can't
me.
wait to be on your podcast
Yeah.
later this week.
Yep.
Yay. All right, take care.
You too.
Thank
Pleasure.
you.
Oh, you can't see my peace sign. It's right there, I
Oh
swear.
no, there we go. Ah!